So if you were at the examination and you were presented with a report or report writing, I believe you should be happy because we have established in class that report is one of the easiest tasks you would have to write. For ordinary level, probably 15 marks, and advanced people, 25 marks, which you should be able to pocket easily because report writing is very easy. We have established it, it's not me saying it. Some of you were quite worried, saying that, but sir, if we follow the strict format of a report, we may end up using many words and risk going over the word limit given by the question. And again, we have worked on a number of report questions, examination type report question. We use the strict report requirement, the format of the report, and we are still within the number limit that was given to us by the question. So it is possible. It is possible unless the question asks you to avoid that. Otherwise, I want to see the heading. I want to see the subheading of every section. And if the question does not, in the prompt that you have, you are not asked to give recommendation, I am expecting you to give a recommendation in your conclusion. And you can still do that and do it in the word limit, within the word limit that you have been given. So today, as we are revising, I am bringing back, you remember the question that Peter gave us when he was wondering how to go about that type of question. So that is what I am bringing so that we use it as a revision. The question says, your community is plagued by crime. In effort to create awareness and combat this, write a report on. The first question prompt is the types of crime and contributing factors. The second prompt is how this is affecting your community. And then the third prompt is your suggested measures on how to overcome the crime in your community. And I have told you that upon reviewing most of the report questions that are given during the examination, you probably have attended an event and you are coming to describe what happened in the event and tell us what you felt about it and give your suggestions for probably next event. Or you experience something. In this case, you experience something in your community and report on that so that actions can be taken. So in this situation, we'll call it a situation report. So you are telling us what is happening around, what is happening in your community, and you are saying it in such a way that action can be taken to mitigate the situation. So most of the reports that I believe you would get are going to be assessive reports, and you still follow the format. The reason why the format of the report is important is that reports are thought of as a document that is going to be given to someone in authority. At work, it can be someone in authority. In your school, it will be your principal or your directors. And those people, we think of them as busy people. And the format of the report helps you to be straightforward. The heading that you put, it helps you to be straightforward so that as soon as that person in authority takes your paper, your report, they know what each section is about without having to think too much as we do in essay writing. Essay writing, you write your paragraph and then the reader who is expected to be educated will have to go through that cognitive process or that cognitive exercise in order to tell what your paragraph is about or what the section of your essay is about. In a report, you don't want to put the person going to read your report in that task or to do that difficult task. They need automatically, as soon as they take your report, every section there, if it is an introduction, they need to know that this section is an introduction. If it is a paragraph is talking about something, they need to know that this paragraph is about this. That is why it is important to put the subheading. So don't leave it out, because if I am marking your report and I don't see that you will not get the full mark for format, because it is something very important for a report. So we have established that, and we can do that. Remember, we can do that. I am just repeating because for the sake of revision, but we can do that because we have done it. So let me take the question again. Your community is plagued by crime. In effort to create awareness and combat this, write a report on 1. The types of crime and contributing factors. 2. How this is affecting your community. And 3. Your suggested measures on how to overcome the crime in your community. Another reason why writing a report is very easy is because it comes as a guided writing. Guided or directed writing, the way it depends on however you want to call it. And when it comes as a guided writing, it means you are given 3 prompts. And what are the 3 prompts? How are they going to serve you? They give you an idea of what you need to write in your body paragraphs. So already we have an idea of what we have to write in our body paragraphs. And in this case, for a report, we change the prompt into subheading. So there will be the subheading of each prompt is going to be a subheading of a body paragraph. So we are going to have 3 body paragraphs. Now, before the 3 body paragraphs, you will have your introduction. And in this case, you remember when we were writing the report, which I'm going to present to you, we did not have a conclusion, because in the 3rd prompt, we are asked to make suggestions, and this is what we would have done if there was not such a requirement and we were ending the report. We would have concluded by making suggestions, and here the prompt is asking us to give suggestions. So we ended by that prompt. So the first part of a report is what? The heading. The heading of the report, where you specify who the report is being addressed to. So we put to, and then from whom, who is writing the report, which is definitely you. Then the next line will be the subject. What is this whole report about? After the subject, then the date, which are very important. These 3 points are very important in the format of the report. So we were thinking when we were brainstorming in class, if you would remember, for such a question, crime in your community and effort to combat the crime in the community, who do you think the report should be addressed to? Or who do you think the report should be given to? Definitely it should be someone who is in position to take action that can help solve the issue. And we brainstormed, you guys brought wonderful ideas, but we settled on the district chief commander of police. You could have given to the headmen in your village, depending on where you are. You could have given to the governor of the district or the region. I don't know. Any person in position to influence this issue can get a report. So if the report does not, the question prompt does not specify to you who to give the report to, you can think of someone who can be a stakeholder, someone who can be of interest or can be interested in such a report to take action, and then think of it. So now we are talking about position. As for the name, you can create any name. And here we created to Mr. Skelete Blackie, District Chief Commander of Police. Now, who is writing the report? That is us, from Murangi Katrina, a member of the community, or Murangi Katrina Elena. So what we do is you give your name and your position, your social status, your name and your social status. And the same thing applies to the person who is going to read the report also, the name of the person and their social status. Then after that, you come down to the subject. The subject, you pick it up from the question. Here we wrote report on crimes in our community. You could have simply said crimes in our community. Or, yes, crimes in our community, but it's nice to specify report on crime in our community or report on crimes in our community. Then the date. You put the date. You can put today's date, but we are referring to the date you are writing the report. After that, that is all. You now go to your first section in the report, which is your introduction. Remember, you should write introduction, underline it before you start writing your introduction, so that when the person going to read the report gets the report, they know exactly that this is your introduction. As you go higher in education, you go higher in life, you would realize that the longer the report, the more sections you have to get. Before the introduction, you may see something. If you read report around, you will see executive summary, whereby the person writing the report give a quick summary of the whole report, which is, the report can be long, and the person gives the whole summary. It could be executive summary, or you would see background. Depending on the type of report, sometimes you would even see abstract. So the reason why they do that, again, as I told you, because we assume those who are going to read the report are busy people. So they need to have a clear picture of what this whole thing is about. And then if they are interested in the details, they are going to read more about the details. So when you put your subheading also here, you are telling the person going to read the report what the report, this section is going to be about. And if they are interested, they are going to read, which is very important in the format of the report. So we put introduction. And we said there's one important part in the introduction that you cannot miss. The introduction has two main parts: the background information, and then the plan of the report. If you are trying to save words so that you don't exceed the word limit that has been given to you, you can do away with the background. But one thing you cannot do away with in your introduction is a plan of the report. So this report presents, and then you tell us what you are going to present in the report. Or this report is about, and then you tell us what you are going to do in the report. And that one is, again, easy, because the prompt of the question give you that what you are going to list there. Now, if you have the luxury of words, you can now include the background of the report. But one thing in the introduction that you shouldn't miss out is the plan of the report. So here we added a background, so I'll read it to you. Indama location is plagued by crime, mostly at night. Young men are mostly the cause of these crimes. Here is a report on the types of crime and contributing factors, the impact of these crimes on the community, and some measures to overcome the issue. So the background that we have put here is Indama is plagued by crime mostly at night, and these crimes are caused by young men. That is the background. And then the part of the introduction, the important part of the introduction, which is of concern to the person who is going to read your report, is the plan of the report. What is this report about? So that is the important part. Here is a report on the types of crime and contributing factors, the impact of these crimes on the community, and some measures to overcome this issue. And you realize that this part, the plan of the report, we took it from the question prompt. So until now, we have not pushed our cognitive faculties further to think too much, because all that we have written here is taken from the question. Your community is plagued by crime. Here we say Indama community location is plagued by crime. We allowed plagued for grade 11 because this question was dealt with at the grade 11 level. But advanced people, we are not expecting you to be using too much the words in the question prompt. So you could have found a new word to replace plagued, isn't it? There are so many crime in our community, or there are so many crime in our area, in our location. Think of different words to replace this word plague in the question. And community, that young boy in grade 11 changed it by Indama location by specifying which community, which is very good. And then he continues with the plan. So what I'm trying to say is that whatever we have in this introduction was not something we created on our own, unless when you want to rephrase the terms in the question prompt where you have to think a bit further, which will be done for advanced learners. Otherwise, the question prompt suggests to you what you need to include in your introduction. Then we move on. The next part of our report is now our body paragraphs, and for each body paragraphs you need to have a subheading. So we are using our question prompt to form our body paragraphs. And the first question prompt says the types of crime and contributing factors. So it means in your first body paragraph, the title will be types of crimes and contributing factors. Type of crimes and contributing factors. And we just decided to address the two of them in separate paragraphs. So we had the first paragraph which we titled it crime types, and then we detailed it. And then after that we had another paragraph called contributing factors, which we also detailed. But that is where it is now. In this part of the work, you will now have to do much thinking. Before you start writing, you have to brainstorm what are the type of crimes that could happen in a community, especially in a community in your area. So we brainstormed some crime types. You guys brought wonderful ideas. We had burglary, we had murder, we have rape, armed robbery, drug smuggling, kidnapping. Yes, the fact that we have brainstormed these wonderful ideas, you remember, does not mean we need to include all of them in our essay. We don't want to list, we want to detail. We want to mention a few of them, and then we give detail. So we did not include all of them in our paragraph. We just chose a few of them. Let me read what we did, if you remember. The crimes in my community are of different types. Our topic sentence to introduce the paragraph, to say that this paragraph is about this. But if you are playing with words, you could ignore that, but no problem. The types of the crimes in my community are of different types, full stop. Most prevalent among them is rape. So we have many crimes in our community, but we are trying to narrow so that we will be able to give much detail. So most prevalent among them is rape. Then this is our detail. Last month, for instance, there were 15 cases of rape reported. So that part of the sentence, which I am putting in green, is supporting the claim that rape is a prevalent crime in our community. Let's go to the next crime we mentioned. Not only rape, but drug smuggling happens occasionally. Why are we saying drug smuggling happens occasionally? About 5 parents reported to our principal that their kids were in possession of heroin. Then we move again. Furthermore, a few cases of armed robbery was reported in the Indamar area in this week's newspaper. And we are done. So we had many crimes that we brainstormed, but we decided to focus only on 3. Now, that is where you play with the words. If you feel like you don't need too many words, especially ordinary level, whereby you may have to write this whole report in less than 180 words, you can decide to focus only on 2 types of crimes, or even only 1, and you detail it. And you will not have to write too many words. But I keep telling you, don't worry about the number of words. If your work is good, the structure is good, and your support system, the way you supported your details, your points is also good, I don't think the examiner will worry too much about the number of words that you have used. But definitely make sure it fits within the space that has been provided. That is one of the reasons why you need to pay attention to the number of words. Now let's move to our second paragraph. Our second paragraph, we titled it Factors Contributing to These Crimes. Then we started again. There are many reasons why these crimes happen in the community. Remember, we brainstormed factors that could lead to this crime. Some of the factors that we brainstormed was poverty, exposure to delinquent or bad friends, poor upbringing, abusive home, single parenting. Again, the fact that we had brainstormed these wonderful ideas does not mean we need to include all of them in our report or in our piece. So we use a few of them. Let me read it. There are many reasons why these crimes happen in the community. The first one is abusive home. Then when you mention abusive home, you need to give detail, you need to support it. Some kids, especially boys, who always see their father abusing women tend to have the same behavior towards their female friends. Another key factor is association with bad friends. Why do we say association with bad friends? As the saying goes, bad company corrupts good morals. Many of the young boys in our community associate with bad friends. Finish. We thought that was enough detail to give to support this point. Now, if you pay attention to what we try to do here is the crime we mentioned was rape and drug smuggling. So we are giving factors that are linked to rape and drug smuggling. That is what the question required here. That is why they say the type of crime, the type of crimes and contributing factors. So the contributing factors of those crimes you have mentioned. Not giving contributing factors that address another type of crime which you didn't mention in your section of type of crimes. Pay attention to that. It is very important. When you are giving contributing factors, it's the same thing applies to effect. If you have mentioned the problem, some problem, specific problem, and you are telling us the effect of the problem, make sure the effect of the problem, the effect that you are mentioning or you are developing are the effects of the problems you have mentioned, not any other problem. And that is what we did here. So abusive home seems to be talking about the reason why there is rape in the community. And then association with bad friends seems to be addressing the drug smuggling and armed robberies that we have mentioned, isn't it? Remember, we had other wonderful ideas that were brainstormed, other wonderful factors that were brainstormed, but we did not include them. What we were doing here is, you can't include all, you can't list all, it will not fit. But you also focus on the ones you can easily detail. And you remember when I was asking you for all those who have submitted these factors, I did not end there. I asked them, why are you saying poverty? Why are you saying exposure to delinquent friends? Why are you saying poor upbringing? And then I focus only on the ones you were able to detail. The fact that you have brainstormed these ideas does not mean you need to include all of them. You only include those you are able to detail and detail well, those you are able to support and support well. And that is what we did here. So when you get to the examination, that is what you are supposed to do. You brainstorm your ideas and you only select those you can detail well. 2-3 of them is enough. It will give you a paragraph of 50 words. Okay, let's continue. So the next part of our body paragraph is now the impact of these crimes on our community. And we brainstormed again. What could be some of the impact of these crimes in our community? Remember, these are what we brainstormed. Loss of properties, underdevelopment, insecurity or fear and panic, lack of trust. Wonderful ideas, but we cannot include all of them in our report because we need to develop them and we don't have the luxury of space or words to use because of the word limit. So this is what we wrote. These criminal acts have created fear and instability in the community. So we chose fear and instability. Why are we saying fear and instability? It is not safe for learners to walk to school, even adults to walk to work. According to reports, 3 learners were stabbed on their way to school on the side of Agra. So we are giving the reason why there is fear and instability in our community. And then we went further. These incidents are putting too much pressure on family to budget extra money, to transport their children to school, even for short distances. So parents are now budgeting extra amount that they are not supposed to spend. They now have to spend those amounts because the town is now insecure. So distances that learners could have walked while going to school, now their parents have to pay taxes to transport them those to help them cover these distances. Why? Because there is insecurity in the town, and we thought that was a good point, and we put it there. I don't remember who suggested that, but it was there because it was not brainstormed when we were writing, and then we thought of adding that. We could have added other impacts, but already you could see that we have exceeded the number of words we've set for ourselves to write in one paragraph. So we moved on to the last paragraph, which is measures to curb this situation. So some solutions to solve this issue. And we again brainstormed some wonderful measures. We spoke about a neighborhood watch, job opportunities that must be created, sensitizing or educating the youth, and then enacting policies or regulations. Wonderful ideas, but again, we cannot include all of them in our body paragraph. So we chose the few of them that we can develop, and those that speaks directly to the type of crime that we have mentioned. So this is what we have. Title is Measures to Curb the Situation. In order to fix these crime issues in the community, the police should patrol the streets more often. We are asking the police to patrol the streets more often. Now, any solutions that you suggest, you need to tell us the effect of that solution, the positive effect. What is it going to do? If the police patrols the street, what is going to happen? So here we say this will deter the potential criminal. This will deter the potential criminals. So if police patrols the road, this will deter potential criminals. You could have put, every area, every perimeter in the community should establish a neighborhood watch. This will deter the criminals, or this will help catch the criminals before they commit the crimes. This will help catch the potential criminals before they commit the crime. So for every measure you suggest, you need to detail, you need to give the reason why, or when that measure is taken, what will happen. You need to inform us, you need to let the examiner know. And that is where you will score good marks, not just by listing. You remember I keep saying that, not just by listing, but be able to support whatever claim you make. And the next one, we said another measure to put an end to these crimes is to create more jobs. Why is it important to create more jobs? So that young people will have something to do, earn some form of income, and stop stealing. Finally, by enacting rules and regulations regarding the crimes that are happening in our community, many criminals will stop risking their future, knowing the punishment that awaits them if they are caught. Right? So what do you think about that? I think we did well. All of you were excited. It is better to list just a few or mention just a few, and then you give detail, than just to list and not giving detail, which most other students will do. I am not expecting you to do that. And I don't think the examiner is also expecting you to do that. Brainstorm many ideas. That is fine. But identify the ideas that you are able to develop, and then develop those ideas. There should be 2 or 3, not more than that, because you will not you will definitely, if you use more than that, you are going to exceed the number of words. So here, that is a good report within 200 and 250 words, or 250 and 280 words, if you count that. And after you understand this, you can now reduce the number of items you mention and you detail, so that you bring it down for 150, between 150 and 180 words for those who are in ordinary level, who are concerned and may be required to write between 150 and 180 words. But most importantly, the format of the report is important, and the format says that you need to have a heading that specifies who is going to receive the report, who is going to read the report, who is writing the report, the subject of the report, which is the topic or the purpose of the report, and then the date. After that, you move to your introduction. Your introduction, the most important part of the introduction, is the plan of the report. This report presents, and then you have the plan as given to you by the question prompt. Now, if you want to be wordy for advanced level, you give background. You give background of the issue, or background to the issue, before you now bring the plan of the report. But one aspect that should not miss in your report is the plan. The plan should, one aspect that should not miss in your introduction is a plan of the report. Then after the introduction, you change the question prompts into title, into headings, and then you brainstorm ideas which you develop in each section. So at the end, this is how your report is going to look like. You have the heading, you have the subheading for each section of the report. And as soon as the teacher sees it like that, the examiner sees it like that, you will get the full mark for the structure of the report, for the style. And then when they go in, they check your content, definitely you will pass. Remember, when we had the class test on the report, all of you did well. And if it comes during the examination, you should again do well, because report writing, it is not difficult. At least it is not difficult for you.